Well, Amanda, it's been nice having a long journey with you, but I've got you home now. It's time for us to...
Can you help me with my bag?
Yeah, I'll help you get your bag out. Nice place. Let's get you home, eh? Yeah. Right, there you go. There's your bags. See you later.
No, wait. Come on in. I want to show you my vision board, please.
Vision board?
Yeah.
Will it take long? Because I've really got to get back.
No, it won't take long at all.
Oh, all right, let's make it real quick. Yeah. And then I've just got to get home.
It's just in here.
All right. Never seen a vision board before. Where is it then?
It's right behind you.
What is this?
This is the vision board. I asked my mom for a little bit of help. She told me that if I wanted something bad enough that I should just maybe visualize it, put it out on a board. So this is what we got. Our story begins right here. My one and only. Remember that day? That was so nice.
No, well, that didn't happen.
It did happen. And then moving on, right into family zone. Aw, look at us with the kitties.
Where did you get those pictures of the cats?
Well, it doesn't matter. They're hard to find. And this one right here, this picture perfect day. Wasn't that fun? That was a nice day.
That didn't happen.
You told me to put on that cute little outfit and said, yeah, get there in that tree and pose.
I just didn't. You weren't there.
Yeah, I was.
It never happened.
This is you and me. Yeah, it is. And finally, our big day. To have and to hold. I even let you wear your blue jacket. Do 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 do. And the picture it all centers around your profile picture. But I'm not sure about which picture I like more.
What's that on my beard?
Glitter. Sparkles make everyone happy.
Yeah. Okay, well, I've got to go now, so I'll see you later then, right?
Oh, wait, you can't. Stop. I've just had an emergency text message from the government. Looks like you'll be staying with me.
Why?
Quarantine.
Oh, for fuck.
And so began a test of my patience. All I wanted was to get back to work. I just could not find a moment's peace. I badly needed to catch up on my vlogs, but there was no respite. Amanda had zero respect for my sensitive ears. Wherever I went, there she was, turning up the volume to 11, and we were only at day 1 of our isolation, and already I was climbing the walls. Things got worse when she insisted on playing the guitar. I say playing, it sounded more like it had been kicked down the stairs and set on fire. At this point, I'd officially lost the will to live, and just when I thought it was Netflix and chill time, now I know what a pterodactyl fight sounds like. But finally, a moment of peace and tranquility. The only way I was going to get through this was to dream of better days, enjoying my landscape photography. I remember a stormy winter day when the waves on Vancouver Island were majestic. Bald eagles were busy fishing and I was on the hunt for some epic wave shots.
So for the last hour, the waves have been a little bit too small for me to try and get cool still frames, but they've been quite pretty, especially where the light was catching those waves as they crested. So I just shot a bit of B-roll, 120 frames per second, just to get some nice just standalone wave shots. But this is now picking up. The best of the light has gone, but true to the forecast, the waves have started to get a little bit more aggressive. So I'm hoping within the next hour, before it's too dark, that we start to see some big waves here. And way off in the distance, I don't know if you can see it in the frame, but there's some nice light catching those clouds in the distance. I don't think that's going to last. Be brilliant if it did. If it doesn't, that's okay, as long as these waves get bigger and I get that shot. And just looking at it now, I can see they are starting to get quite big, and it just got really cold. We're getting kind of pushed around a bit on this rock, so I'm quite hopeful that I'm going to get the conditions that I want for this shot. If things don't pick up and the waves don't get much bigger in the next sort of 45 minutes, we'll probably just quit this spot and head down to Amphitrite Point, just on the very rare off chance that we get some nice light for sunset, because there's a spectacular sea stack there, one of my favourite sea stacks on Vancouver Island, and the sun sets just to the right of it. And if there is some nice light, we can get some beautiful side light on that sea stack, but I'd rather have this. I want that wave shot. Way off in the distance there, I thought it was a boat. I thought there was like a fishing boat bouncing up and down way off in the distance. At first I thought it was a giant rock, but then I noticed it was moving. So I thought, well, maybe it's a boat. And I zoomed in all the way to 400 and then switched this to crop mode so I could get in even further and get a right good look at it. And what it turned out to be was a ginormous tree, the whole tree with its root system that's obviously fallen off a cliff somewhere on this coast and got swept out to sea, and now it's getting blasted back. Who knows where that giant tree came from? It could have been out in this ocean for weeks or months, maybe even years, I don't know. This thing is colossal. It's really quite fascinating.
You know what else is fascinating is, why haven't you subscribed to this channel? Oh, you have? Oh, sorry, I do apologise.
Right, you probably can't hear anything over this wind. It is mental. I think this is the strongest wind I've ever encountered. It's so powerful, and my lens hood is acting like a sail, so the camera just keeps getting blown back. Anyway, I'll try and give you some information that might be useful. I don't profess to be an expert at shooting waves, but I'll let you know what I've learned in the last few months when I've been doing this. In this weather, it is bloody cold and it's wet. So one thing I use is these sniper's gloves. And these are really useful because, oh my God, that's crazy. You can put hand warmers in this little pocket here and zip it up, and that'll keep your hands really toasty. And then when you're ready to shoot, just pull your fingers out and you're away. Oh, that is, look at, hello. Yes, please. Thank you very much. But the conditions right now are just magic. We've got light rays blasting in from the side. I've got backlit waves, and the light pops in and out. So when it pops out, the waves, they just come alive. They're just like 3D objects that are jumping out of the frame, whereas when the light pops behind a cloud, it becomes dull and muted and soft. It's still beautiful, it's still spectacular, but it doesn't quite have that drama and that intensity. So I'm still shooting anyway when the sun pops behind a cloud, but it's those moments when it pops out that I'm trying to be ready, and I'm just riding that shutter as always. Now, oh, look at that colour. I am filling up memory cards like a lunatic. I'm on my 3rd memory card right now, and I don't know how many more I've got to go. There may be an executive decision made whereby I have to just format one of them, ditch all of the shots I got from an hour and a half ago, because something new might come up that's just 10 times better. I'm prepared to make that sacrifice. What I was saying about the difference between that high contrast light and no light, let me just show you the difference now. I'll pick 2 really beautiful waves, but look at the difference that backlight makes.
In this first image, you can see how that bright backlight creates contrast while the sun peeks through a gap in the clouds. But in the next 2 images, we lose that effect as the sun gets blocked by cloud. It's still a pretty image, but it lacks that punch.
Okay, so 3 really useful things that I've learned in the last 15 minutes. Number 1, oh, look at that wave. I missed that one. Number 1, if your memory cards are starting to fill up, and like me, you can't afford 10 gajillion 256 gig cards, one thing you can do, and it's really cool on this camera, is just lose a bit of resolution and shoot in crop mode if you're on a full frame sensor. It's not ideal, in fact it's kind of stupid when you pay all this money for a 60 megapixel sensor, but with this camera, the A7R4, it's still at half resolution, at the crop resolution. You can still get a lot of resolution, and your files are half the size. That means you can get a lot more on your memory card. This is absolutely ridiculous. Oh my god. Look at that light in the background. Yeah, so that's tip number 1. If your memory cards are filling up, go in crop mode if you have it. Number 2 is, you know how I talked about these gloves? Well, a really cool place to keep your lens cloth is inside that glove. So I'm just wiping that constantly. I've forgotten what tip number 3 was. Okay, tip number 3. It took me a while to remember what that one was. If you can, especially when you're on a zoom lens, try and shoot a little bit wider than you think you need, because it's nice to have a little bit of crop room after the fact. And the reason why I'm saying that is I've learned when I'm looking through the viewfinder and I'm looking at my composition, I'm really happy with the shot until I take my eyes away and I look at the overall scene separate to the camera, and I realize I missed like a ray of light off to the left or some other really cool wave that's crashing in the foreground. So it's always nice to shoot a little bit wider, give yourself that crop space, because you never quite know what you're missing. And then tip number 4 is, don't be an absolute moron like me and in high winds sit underneath a tree, because branches like these, they could fall down.
So this shot is an example of giving yourself that much needed cropping space. All of the previous shots before this one had that tight zoom on the waves, and if I hadn't accidentally zoomed out, I would have missed those gorgeous rays of light. Dreaming about my landscape photography adventures was definitely helping with my mental health, but all good things must come to an end. Unfortunately, it was time to get back to reality, or what currently passes for reality in this weird new world.
Ooh, this coffee goes right through me. I'll be back in a bit.
A journal.
I was accidentally watching Gavin have a shower. There's nothing weird about that, is there? Anyway, I'd always wondered if he had a big package. Well, at least he's talented. Maybe it was a cold shower. Ice cold.